Hey guys, how's it going? So sorry for the late video, but I'm going to make it up to you guys, and instead of just talking about one subject, I'm going to talk about two. So last time you heard from me, we were talking about 1 point perspective, and I showed you how you can make that using with some rectangles. We talked about why we place the line higher or lower. So today I'm going to introduce to you, if you've never heard of it, but I figure some of you may have heard of it. We're going to talk about, first thing we're going to talk about is 2 point perspective. So with 2 point perspective, what you have to do, well, first let me put down a picture plane real quick. So 2 point perspective. So same setup. You have your picture plane. You have your horizon line. Now what's going to happen is you're going to have two vanishing points, and I like to try to place them far away from each other because that makes your scene look more natural. So what you do is you start with your vertical lines, and they recede back. It's easier to start with one vertical line, and you'll see why. So now we have the freedom to place another line wherever we want on here. So I'm going to place one here, and I'm going to place another one here. And then what we do now, from this end, we go from this end all the way here. I'm going to just do it this way just so it's a little quicker. And we get a three-dimensional box created using 2 point perspective. So let me clean this up. So really what happens is, in 2 point perspective, certain sets of lines go one direction and another set of lines go in another direction. So just want to clean this up real quick. So here we go. A pretty nice 2 point perspective box. I think so, at least. So let me show you, try to explain. Okay, I just made that real quick. You know what, I won't do that. I'll make a straighter line. Okay, so alright, so I went through that pretty quickly, but now I'm going to slow it down. What I did, I just picked a space on here. Alright, let me show you what it looks like as a grid. So if I just like this, I just want to show you what 2 point perspective looks like. Like if there was a grid of 2 point perspective, because this will help so you can see why a certain why certain lines go in certain directions, or which side goes which way. So I'll show you. Alright, so this is a quick perspective grid. You just could see how the space recedes back. Not the cleanest, but you don't have to draw this. This is just a demonstration. So this is what it looks like. Like if you were looking at a tiled floor in 2 point perspective, this is what it would look like. So the way you decide which way they go is, of course, one end. Oops, sorry. I'm so sorry. One end goes, and another end goes. What happens in 2 point perspective, where in 1st-point perspective, I'll show you a little bit over here, where in 1st-point perspective you have a whole front that's flat. Like if we were looking at this from a top view, this would be the picture plane, and this would be the box right here. This whole side is flat and parallel to the picture plane. So what's happening here, now here's our picture plane. Now we took this box and we made it at an angle. So if we're looking at both of these from the top, you see the front is parallel to the picture plane, but then in 2-point perspective, the picture plane in your cube, or if you're making a house or something, it's not parallel anymore. So this line, or these lines right here, end up being the only lines that are going to go vertical, straight, completely vertical, no angle unless you start adding details and such. But that's what's happening. We turned the box a little bit, and now these are the only lines that are going to be straight and vertical. Now we have what they call organelles, which are the angles created in perspective. Now they're going to be diagonal. So, just finish this up real quick here. I'll tell you why that's important. So really what's happening, the more you add points in your perspective, really I'm just going to go up to 3 for you guys, but the more points you add, the less perfectly straight angles you have. Alright, so that's 2-point perspective really quickly. Alright, it's pretty simple once you can get 2-point, and once you start talking about 3-point, is really just truly straightforward. But what's happening, like I said, the difference between 1-point and 2-point is simply just a bit of a rotation on the box. So you rotate it a bit, and now it's in 2-point perspective. So you take it from being you take it from being like this, turn it, and when you rotate it a little bit, now it's more like this, and it helps this. And I think 2-point perspective actually helps to create more of a depth, actually, because things are receding more. Like, put some lines, start making your buildings, if you're making a scene or something. Yeah. Of course it takes more time than what I'm doing. I'm just messing around a little bit, but we'll talk about composition and stuff another time. But yeah, so difference between 1st point, 2nd point, just a quick rotation. That's all it is. So let's see. Now I'm gonna talk about 3-point perspective real quick. Alright, 3-point. This is the really fun one, I think. So, alright, so I'm gonna put it all the way up here, and this time I'm gonna make 2 points on the outside of the picture, because that helps to create a more realistic look too, and less distorted. Like, the closer you have these points together, the more distorted your picture will look. So, and then I'm going to place a 3rd one down here. So what's going to happen now, there's going to be lines receding from this one, and from this one. Alright, so let me show you a more step-by-step process to start about this. I'm going to make it over here. I usually try to go one step at a time with these. So here's one, and here's another one, so that's one side. this one, and then I'll take this intersection right here and I'll make that, and then so it's pretty much like a pattern. You start with one, go to another, and then you go to another one to make the other side. And now wherever you have these intersections, they just go with their respective perspective points or vanishing points. So this one will go over here, and the reason why we wouldn't go back over here with this intersection is because we already have this line here. So we're just gonna go over here, and then same thing, we're gonna go over here. And now we have a box that's in a 3-point perspective. Now the farther apart you place your points from each other, the less distorted of an image you'll have. Oops, my bad. The less distorted the image will be, the more realistic it will look. So if you were creating a city scene, I think 3-point perspective is perfect for that, because it creates a height as well as the depth and everything. Alright, so let's make another one, and then you can erase down here. I just want you to see what it looks like when you don't, dang it, you don't have any. Alright, coolio. Let's make another one. Let's make a wider, a longer one actually. Let's make a shorter but a longer box. So we start with our 2 points here. This time I'm gonna go this way with the order. So I'll go with this one. And I'm gonna go with this one. And honestly, since the 2 intersections are there, you could do both of them, and then go back down here and pick which part on these lines you want to connect, and then just bring that one in, and now we have another box. I'm trying so hard to not call these buildings, because whenever you use 3-point perspective, I see it used a lot in making buildings or for a scene where there's anything big or small, but I usually see it a lot like in comic books. Is usually an establishing shot, or what they call an establishing shot, that shows the whole scene and the whole image. Okay, now why I place this up here, like I said before, you place your line high up, it gives you a bird's eye view. So we're up high looking down right here. So if these 2 buildings were side to side, our camera would be up here. So now I'm going to shift that, and all you have to do is place your line at the bottom. So now instead of being up here, we'd be down here, and then that's our picture plane right here. So I'll place my first two. The first 2 go on the line, and then your last one goes somewhere in the air. And it doesn't have to be in the center of the image. You can put it over here, you can put it over here, you put it over here, but for the sake of continuity, I'm gonna just place it going straight through the center of the frame. So I kind of attacked this one a little differently, because since we're going to be on the ground this time, you can place all 3. So this one's going to be a little distorted, but I'm going to try to get this one first. So let me go back, because I want the inside, and then I want a longer, and then go this way. Alright. Alright, so we have this building right here, and then the other building, since it's taller, it'll actually be outside of the frame. So I'm gonna just indicate it with these lines. And that's the cool thing about 3-point perspective too. Sometimes if there is an object that's too big to fit in the scene, you can just show the lines going up here, and you won't even need these other two. You just need those main lines to continue to continue the perspective. It's all about consistency too with perspective. One detail can mess up a picture, especially when you start talking about drawing characters in perspective, which I think that would be a great thing to talk about. So alright, so we have, these are quick, these are really quick.